I am the president of the board of directors for the Land Trust, and we are so thrilled to have you here, and we're thrilled to have the musicians performing. We really appreciate all of your support, and I wanted to do a welcome. Bernie Butcher, who's the treasurer of the board, is going to then give a little spiel, and then Angela's going to want to thank a lot of people. But there's one person I know Angela isn't going to thank, and I want to thank Angela for all of her work. We are so lucky to have her. And I wanted you to know that during the performance, we're not going to have wine for sale yet. Everything else will be. It won't hurt my feelings if you want to go grab some wine now. So the wine will be available till about 2:30, which is when we're having the band start. So feel free. I'll feel okay. I wanted to do an update on a couple of aspects that we all hold near and dear. First of all, our land acquisition progress, and then the second aspect is our stewardship. So first of all, I have two updates for you. Thanks to the generosity of Richard and Angela Burke and all of you who did the paddle raise at our dinner last fall for acquiring Big Valley wetlands. We just acquired 8.2 acres of wetlands and riparian wetlands adjacent to Kalanipo. It's basically a wetland that's between the drive-in movie theater and Manning Creek. We wanted it for two reasons. Well, it's a wetland, so I guess three. It gives us access to more of Manning Creek to help clean it up. It's also, we discovered in the title search that it was actually the original entrance to what was the Wright Branch. So there's an easement in there, and you can see in our 1942 photo we found, you can see the path over. And on, even today on the parcel viewer, they have it as a road going from South Main Street, past the barn at Kalanipo, off to where we park. So we're excited to have that. And then the second update is the Passion Play wetlands. We are, last week I went out there with the Passion Play some people from their board of directors, and also with our surveyor, and we're deciding on the final lot line, which is the last step we need before we can get an official appraisal and apply for the grant to get the funding. So that's moving along as well. In terms of stewardship, Angela initiated, did an outreach to Caltrans, and we're talking about using Caltrans mitigation money. The first possibility of that is for that 8.2 acres we just acquired. Because there's some natives there, but there's some invasives, so we're discussing with them a plan to use mitigation funds to clean up that wetland. And then the Kalanipo restoration, that's moving along. It's moving into a higher gear. We've decided on what we want to do as far as the path of Manning Creek, if you've been keeping up with that. And now the engineers are working, and we're moving along at a very fast pace. They're working on the permitting. The plan, when it gets to be 90% finished, then we can apply for the funds to actually do the restoration. And that should be, application should be sometime this winter. And then the plan is that we'll have the permitting all done. Once we get the funds, we can hit the ground running and get that restoration going. As part of that, we're doing community outreach. So keep abreast on the news and views, on our newsletter. If you don't get those, sign up online and look at our online calendar of events. We'll be doing several different community outreach to share all of our plans for the restoration project. Then the Levee Breach project at Kalanipo that we're doing with the Lake County RCD, that's almost ready also to go in for an implementation grant. We're working on the permitting of that. I'm sure you've been hearing about that project for a long time. We were so close, and then there was a spontaneous breach. So then we had to wait for the lake to go down so that the engineers can go back. When it first started, I could step over the breach. Now it's several breaches over about 100 feet. So it's going to be a big breach. So we had to replan that and then decide what to do. And so that project is moving along. Should be very shortly. We should get that grant application in. And our newest grant is from the Pitzer Family Foundation. for an educational pavilion. For those of you who've been out to Kalanipo, you know there's an old pole barn there that's about to fall down thanks to the woodpeckers. And so our contractor, the Velasquez brothers, have actually ordered the material to make the pavilion because the price was about to go up. So he has it all nicely, safely stored, just waiting for, we're sorting through a bit of permitting issue, but I'm working with the community development department. We're going to get that solved, and then he can start work. So we're very excited about that. I wanted to highlight just upcoming events. I'm sure you're aware, but just to remind you, Rodman is open every Saturday for self-guided tours. If you haven't been out in a while, we have 2 new paths to go on. So, and one of them has a lot of trees, so even if it's warm, you can wander around, and there's a lot shorter paths, but they're very sweet paths. And we've done a lot of restoration. We have flags around, marking all of the milkweed we're finding all over the place out there. It's really exciting. Then the 3rd Saturday of the month, there's a guided walk at Kalanipo right now because it's so hot. We're starting at 8 o'clock. And then probably this fall we'll switch to 9. The last one is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And so bring your family. If you have Thanksgiving dinner, you can walk off all that pie. Just a suggestion. And then we have at Rodman, there's Poetry at the Preserve on September 5th. I think it is. I can't read my own writing. Yes. Then we're planning a land tending September 20th. I know we've had to cancel a couple because it's been so awfully hot, but hopefully in September the weather will be in better shape. And then finally, hopefully you've seen signs up here, and we're doing our first South County Land Trust event this fall. So it's October 10th. It's an afternoon event. It's at a private residence off of 175 just north of Middletown. We're working on a couple of projects in South County. I'm hoping we could maybe talk about them then, but it's premature now to talk about them, but fingers crossed we can share some information. Next, I'd like to introduce our treasurer, Bernie Butcher. Bernie and Lynn have been longtime huge supporters of the Land Trust. We conned Bernie into joining the board, and then we snuck him in the treasurer's job on it, so we're grateful to him. Thank you.
Since I've been involved in the board, Mary Jo together with Angela have really brought a level of professionalism and energy that we haven't had before. So really a big round of applause. So I'll be really brief. Just thank you very much for your monetary contributions to the Land Trust and all the good work that is being done. But what's really interesting, the last couple of months, the Land Trust has received these envelopes, and we open the envelope, and inside is a very nice check. And you say, oh, that's very nice. We'll send a nice card, or we always call up the people, thank you very much, what can we do? These checks come from trustees and insurance companies and estate, and they say, XYZ has just passed away, and here you have been named in their will or trust. And so we love it, pennies from heaven not expected. But how do you thank somebody that is no longer around? Most of the time, I think 3 of the 4 that I'm referring to, they're on our mailing list, so we know them a bit. We can call the next of kin, whatever it is, but one of them wasn't even on our donor list. And so I started thinking this too, because I've just been in the process, Lynn and I, of updating our estate plan, 55 or 100 pages or whatever the thing is. So we throw the Land Trust in there, and I say, well, that's fine, I'm doing something nice for the Land Trust, but when they send me a thank you note, they're not going to know where to send it, up or down, I don't know. So we said, let's form a legacy circle. Let's go to our donors and contributors and whatever, or just friends. And if they have put the land trust as a beneficiary of their IRA or as a remainder beneficiary in their estate or whatever it is, just ask them to fill out a little form. We know who they are, even if it's $10, whatever the amount, and then you'll be listed in our legacy circle. So I filled out the first form, so I'm going to be at the top of the list. But I think it's a really nice thing. It's not, and so on the tables here is this brochure about legacy giving and so on. But inside is this little form with one thing to fill out that says, yes, you are a beneficiary of my estate or whatever. You can give that form or mail it in, and you'll be part of the legacy circle. So I just, if you're in the cheap seats up there, you don't get this. But there are these brochures on the table as you go out. So thank you very much.